Today we are going to look at the new remote from IKEA to the SYMFONISK sound system. It's called the SYMFONISK Generation 2. What comes in the box is the remote itself, a metal plate you can mount on the wall, either with screws or with some tape, or what we should call it, pads. It uses two AAA batteries, and they are not included. You have to buy them separately. But you can read a lot about this on the internet yourself. So I'm actually going to show it how it will work on light bulbs. That's not IKEA's intended usage, but I think that's important to know in case you want to use it in some other system than IKEA's own. So if you use it with a SYMFONISK sound system, a SYMFONISK speaker, then you can see the buttons. It's volume up, volume down, and skip to left and right, and start and stop playing. And then there's also two buttons that's IKEA shortcut buttons. But we don't care about that. Let's see how it works without IKEA. And what I have done here is I have paired it directly with these two light bulbs, without any gateway, without anything else. We are just running pure Zigbee. And this is important because if you want to use this on Philips Hue or many of the other systems, then this is the functionality you get. So, for example, we have volume down is actually turn off the light bulb, and volume up is turn on, but turn on at full brightness. We have to turn it down here again. And the play button is toggle, if it's working. There we go. When you make this direct pairing, then sometimes it doesn't work that well. Then we have the two other buttons, and these two other buttons, the four other buttons here, does nothing. So that's interesting if you use any system where you can make a combination of translating and direct pairing. For example, if you use POSCON, then you can directly pair this to the light bulb and have this functionality, and at the same time use the four other buttons for some other functionality. Just to compare, then I have all the other IKEA remotes, almost all of them. For example, we have the Generation 1, which you cannot buy anymore, and it was actually very good. Too bad it's now out of production. It's turn up and turn down, and one button to turn it off and on. So we see some similarity here, that this button is a turn on and off button, a toggle button. This is also a toggle button, and it's the same with this toggle button. And let's just have some fun. If I then turn this on and off, there we go. Then it's very easy to see that this is a toggle button, right? That it only sends the toggle signal to the light bulb. It doesn't know the state of the light bulb. So let's just see what happens if I hold down this button. It seems like it does nothing. Okay, that's both good and bad. That means that you have the functionality to have hold down if you translate this in whatever Zigbee system you're using. And the same goes for the SYMFONISK, it seems. Let's just... But if we do it with the hockey puck remote, here, if we hold down, then it will reset both light bulb and at full brightness. Let's just... here's a trick. Turn it off and then turn one time up. Then it's at minimum brightness. And let's just change it to have some color we can see on the camera. It's actually quite hard to record light bulbs on a camera. Okay, so that probably means that it has the function to hold down this button if you translate it in whatever Zigbee system. We can also... I tested the curtain remote, and it does nothing when paired directly to a light bulb. And of course, this one was first sold together with a relay, and it was interesting to see that it was actually working with the remote. And now IKEA sells them together with the light bulbs. It also have this functionality if I turn up and then turn off. Then if I hold down up, then they start at minimum brightness. So it's good to know how you can turn on minimum brightness in case you want to get up during the night and not be blinded. And the steerbar remote is actually just copy this one and then have the added functionality of changing the color. So here I can also turn up the brightness. If I turn off and then hold down this button, then it's at minimum brightness. So, and just since I have all of them, here's the electronics for the hockey puck and such, but let's just take a look at the electronics for this new Generation 2 SYMFONISK, because that's the whole theme of this video. So we have all the parts here. Should you decide to take it apart yourself, then here's how you do it. You attack the corners. It's the corners you have to jam in, and so you have to put in something that can push the corners out. That's how you do it. Of course, after I did my mistake, then I scratched the surface, but that doesn't matter. I'm just interested in the chip here. So let's have a look at it, what we have. So we have the usual chip that the IKEA uses. Let's just compare it to the steerbar I have right here, which I have harvested the chip from. So whoever did this probably reused the schematic, but they have changed a little. Interesting to see. So this is the pairing button. It has changed to an old-fashioned tag switch. Interesting. And the buttons we see on the other corner, it's the same type, but now there's 7 of them instead of 4. Interesting, they made a button right here in the middle. So my plan is, as usual, to reverse engineer this. There's also already a reverse engineering of the steerbar remote, which I will link to in the description, where you can see all the connections. It's quite simple, and I expect this one to also be very simple, since it's just a little modification. So that's it. For completeness, let's just have a look at all the other PCBs. So this was the steerbar PCB. This is the hockey puck PCB, you can see here. It came in 2 versions. I have a separate video about that, you can see up there. And in the second version, they went to use tactile switches instead of membrane switches, which is a lot better. Yes, they sound a little louder, but instead they actually also work better. And then both the curtain switch and the on-off switch is actually the same, just with different firmwares. And we have it here with 2 switches. And the interesting part, you can actually take the firmware from this and put into this, because it's the same chips. There's 2 different chips, and unfortunately I don't have one that you can see. But the hockey puck and this is the same chip, and all the new stuff is this chip instead. Yeah. Anyway, let's call that a day, and see the description for more information. That's good. Bye bye.